we understand what it's about.
Every time I touch the ball, I'm thinking I'm going to score.
And this is our chance to write our part of the story.
The wheels, ball, nose, touchdowns!
Like he looks like he wants to take someone's head off.
Oh, picked up! Into the mix! Dante McClellan!
Well, that happened. We're down to 0 lives for the Tigers, and we're here to break it down on the Tiger Kickoff Show. Following the loss to A&M, we got Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase James, guys, 38-17. I left that game feeling like I had soggy onions in my mouth. But what was the taste in your mouth, Quentin?
Do you usually eat soggy onions?
I don't know, but I feel like that's what soggy onions would taste like. It makes you cry a little bit, and it's just like, ugh.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I understand your feelings because it was a domination, especially in the second half. Mizzou's defense tried so hard to keep Mizzou in that game. It reminded me a lot of the Alabama contest from last year, where the offense's ineptitude was rendered not as bad because of the defense's efforts, but in the second half, the dam broke. A&M ran over the Tigers, and as you said, I think their college football playoff lives are done.
Missouri was going to need to be perfect in order to win that game. Missouri was far from perfect. There were too many mistakes. Even the defense keeping them in the first half was only able to do so much. Can't combat too many errors, and that's what Missouri did, unfortunately, on Saturday. And in all likelihood, the college football playoff hopes went away with it. But that's kind of what we were expecting a true freshman to look like against one of the top defenses in the country. I know I said Missouri was going to win. I was wrong about that. But it was a true freshman, and it's really hard to blame him. He was put in a lot of tough situations. I'm sure we'll talk about it. But yeah, that was a very unfortunate game. I don't know what soggy onions really taste like, Jacob. I think you were going for like cutting onions and crying maybe. Being sad,
No, it's the soggy onions because they're cold. The game was really cold.
now
the
they're
onions
cold.
make you cry.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Now we're changing the onions as we go here, but enough with the onions.
Yeah, I mean, I would say there was always going to be an uphill battle to beat A&M. I think they proved how legit this team is. They're absolutely one of the best in the country. And yeah, you had Zollers come in there, and he wasn't given a lot of help, I don't think, with the play calling. But, you know, again, a true freshman against that defense, it was always going to be a struggle for him to really get going. And I had the game at 31-17. That was my score prediction. I ended up being pretty close on that one for once, so I'll take it.
We'll take the props through Chase. But let's check those highlights in that game. That ended up being 38-17. Matt Zoller's first career start for the Tigers, but you know who we're talking about. We've been talking about him all season. Ahmad Hardy bounces it to the outside. He rushes for 40 yards before being brought down. Big pickup for the Tigers.
Surely we would see more of Ahmad Hardy in the first half. Right? Wrong. We didn't see that much. He only had 3 carries over the first 2 quarters. Eli Drinkwitz was pretty mum about why Ahmad Hardy didn't run the ball as much. He said Jamal Roberts was good, and he did play well, but it was mysterious how little Hardy touched the ball in the first half.
Tigers had to punt after that. Did not score, but you know who's scoring late in the first? Marcel Reed to Ashton Bethel-Roman. 4-yard touchdown. Aggies go up 7-0.
Yeah, this was an excellent drive from Marcel Reed. He took advantage of Missouri's Charmin ultra soft zone defense and took him right down the field. Ended up converting on 3rd down here.
A tough catch in the end zone, too, from Bethel-Roman going over the top of Toriano Pride. Matt Zollers, here we go, airing it out, going down for Donovan Olubide. True freshman to true freshman. The drive ends in a punt. It's, again, still 7-0.
Yeah, a little bit of hope here. I mean, we'll see for the rest of the game just how good Donovan Olubide is. Yeah, a great pass here, and we're going to see plenty more from him. Even if the passing game can't get going, you can kind of rely on Donovan to make big plays.
Yeah, look at that spiral, too. Like, hopefully, we see a couple more of those in the next few years for the Missouri Tigers. We're still in the second quarter here. Vibes are high. Again, one of the best offenses in the nation stifled. We see the Aggies. We're going all over the place. The ball is sacked. Darius Smith. Are you kidding me? What a sack.
The front 7 was awesome through those first 2 quarters. Contained the run really well. Texas A&M running backs could not go anywhere, and here on an option play, Marcel Reed had nowhere to go. That play was snuffed out excellently by Nate Johnson and Darius Smith.
That forces the Aggies to punt. Missouri has a chance to tie the football game with just under a minute left in the second half. First half. Zollers strip sacked by Damian Sanford. It's recovered by Dalton Brooks, who takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line with under a minute to play.
Yeah, this was the first of 2 critical errors in this game. Matt Zollers had no business passing this football. It's 3rd and 10. You see A&M blitzing off the edge, and they decided to drop him back, and he took too long. He got hit. They paid the cost right there. This should have been a run play and went into the half down 7-0.
This leads to the E.J. Smith 1-yard score as the Aggies go up 14-0. What a swing.
Yeah, I mean, before this, only up 7-0, and the defense did a really good job at stopping A&M. But, you know, you're in kind of terrible field position there after that strip sack. You can't really ask for a whole lot there from the defense.
Right out of halftime, screen pass. Tigers saw it coming, but breaking free is KC Conception. He goes 48 yards to the hizzy. The Aggies up 21-zip.
The Aggies did a really good job of limiting the amount of hits Marcel Reed took by getting the ball out quickly to playmakers in space. KC Concepcion is one of the most dangerous receivers in the SEC after the catch. Got him going on a tunnel screen there for a back-breaking touchdown that put A&M up 21-0.
Tigers driving. Their one strong drive of the day ends with a Jamal Roberts touchdown. 4 yards. Aggies still lead 21-7.
That was a nice play there. Get something back, make it 21-7, a little bit more competitive of a football game. Roberts ran 17 times for 110 and a touchdown, so he looked good. But at this point, it almost felt like all the energy had left the building, and Missouri was kind of hopeless.
Tigers with a chance to get back in it. Uh-oh, it's faked. Tigers were not ready for the fake. Direct snap to Brooks. He goes all the way down to the Missouri 18-yard line. But Missouri is able to get the drive to end in a field goal. Man, that is brutal.
Yeah, that was just smart play calling by Mike Elko there. And, you know, Mizzou was just not ready for it at all. They called a max return there. They were not prepared to defend a fake punt, and you see it there.
Fourth quarter. Hardy, there he goes. We've seen this a couple times this year. All the way into the end zone, 31-17 Missouri, but is it too little too late?
That was probably the most anticlimactic 45-yard rushing touchdown Ahmad Hardy has ever scored and will ever score in his football career. It was a nice job by him to cut back, follow the block from Kevin Coleman Jr., and find green grass.
It was also the last time that the Tigers would score as they fall to the Aggies 38-17. Here's what Drink had to say on the loss.
Devastated. Yeah, that's one of the toughest locker rooms I've been in because we all believed that we were going to win. We all believed we were going to win. They fought like they were going to win. But our guys will pull it together. Next week's senior week, you know, it's okay to be devastated. It really is. Like I told them, the only way you're ever going to achieve your dreams and goals is to put everything you have into it. Everything. And you got to work your ass off, and you got to believe, and no matter what obstacle you face, you got to believe that you're going to overcome it. And our guys did. They kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and then you get the wrong end of the result. And so now you got to pick yourself back up. You got to put your guts back in, and you got to find something else to fight for. And our team will. Our team's going to fight for each other next week for the seniors. We're going to fight to finish strong. We were in this situation last year after South Carolina. And we found a way to just keep fighting and believing. And that's ultimately what we're going to do. This team has a lot of strong leaders on it, and we're not going out like that.
So the playoff is off the table. Drinkwitz says that the Tigers are refocusing. I'm asking you, Quinn, what is there to play for this season?
Well, there's still program history to play for. If Mizzou wins out in the regular season and wins its bowl game, they'll go 10-3. That means 3 straight seasons of double-digit wins. That has never happened before in the 130-plus years of Mizzou football. So there is still a lot to play for, even though the highest goal that was very attainable is off the table.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote about it after the game about Mizzou's inability to win big games over the past 2 years. They're 0-6 against ranked opponents, 14-0 versus unranked opponents in that time. And there was a lot of reaction on that about whether Drinkwitz should leave or not, and this is something we might touch on after the show. This is still a guy who has put Missouri in a position where they've won 27 games and counting over the past 2.5 seasons, with 3 games left in this season, a chance to achieve program history. Drinkwitz has put them in this spot to compete in big games, and I honestly thought that was kind of blasphemy, all the talk about Drinkwitz can walk away and Drinkwitz can leave. I mean, this is a guy who has Missouri in big games year after year right now, so that's all I got on Drinkwitz right now.
Yeah, I know as Missouri you look and see the opportunity you had on the table and you're not able to do it. You're not going to make the college football playoff. But at the same time, like I looked at this A&M game and I kind of always expected before the game that A&M was probably going to win this game. And I know they had the opportunity to win, and it definitely could have happened if they played better and done some different things. But at the same time, that's an uphill battle to climb, and I don't think you should put too much on Drinkwitz and just kind of how the season's gone on solely this game. But obviously looking forward, you don't have the same goals that you want to achieve anymore, and it makes it lesser than what it could have been.
Quentin, you said that it was very attainable, the college football playoff for Missouri. What makes you say that?
Well, they looked like a college football playoff team at certain points in the season, just in their biggest games against Alabama and Vanderbilt, and we saw on Saturday Texas A&M. They just weren't able to come through. And you look at the upper tier of college football, and Mizzou is still not really a part of that club, and that's what you have to do to get to the college football playoff. They were really close against Alabama and Vanderbilt, but as we saw on Saturday, there is a clear difference between Mizzou and the teams who will be competing for a national championship.
Z, do you think that would have been different if Bo played?
I mean, I think that's super hard to say, but I definitely think the game changes if Probula's in there. I mean, Matt Zollers, again, he's a true freshman quarterback. The kid's 18 years old, and he's put in a spot against one of the best teams in the country, one of the best defensive fronts in the country, and he just wasn't given a ton of opportunities to succeed. His average passing downfield was 15 yards. That's significantly greater than anything we saw with Probula. I just feel like the opportunities weren't there for Zollers to exceed, and I'm more intrigued to see what we'll see with Zollers in the next 3 games than I was against that test against Texas A&M.
Yeah, let's take a look at how we saw our first career start from Matt Zollers. It was sort of a bad connection. 7 for 22 in his first start for Missouri, a 31.8% completion percentage with 0 touchdowns. Will Zollers be able to reconnect with his receivers going forward, or is this something that we should expect for the rest of 2025?
I will be extremely alarmed if Zollers completes 31.8% of his passes over the next 3 games. That is really poor. As Zach touched on, his average depth of target was a little over 15 yards. He was throwing a lot of deep shots down the sidelines, which just isn't very sustainable. Probula was really good at hitting the easy stuff. There wasn't a ton of easy stuff for Zollers to do on Saturday.
So let's be empirical here. And let's bring out an old friend, but a remodeled friend. It's now the Zolla-meter.
Oh, man.
We'll start with you, Zach, as to where you have Matt Zollers for the rest of the 2025 season.
For the rest of the 2025 season, I think I'm going to put him slightly below the middle of the what do you want to call it? The Zolla-meter. Sorry, I can see the name now. The Zolla-meter.
The Bolivo-meter.
The Bolivo-meter
there is no belief
more.
for at least a little bit.
Okay, so I have Zollers right there. On those 22 pass attempts, he was pressured 7 times. And this goes back to the not giving him a real great opportunity to succeed. He was under pressure often. And I think you'll get more of a read on Zollers over the next 3 games than you will against Texas A&M just because of how good that defensive front is. But I'm curious what you have to say. I've talked a lot about Zollers, Chase.
I think I'm going to move him back up to where he started, right in the middle there. I think after this game, you look forward, like the defenses are not going to be as strong as A&M. I think he's going to have a better opportunity to showcase his skill set and get connection with the receivers better than he has in this game. When we saw what the promise was against Vandy, I don't think that's completely gone just because of this game. I think there's still some promise here, and I think he'll have a lot better performances moving forward.
Quentin, what's your quick Zolla-meter?
It reminds me a lot of Drew Lock in 2015. I'll keep him in the middle just because you have a guy who has a huge arm. He's highly touted, but he just needs to play. He's a true freshman. He hasn't had a lot of experience. Growing pains are inevitable. We saw it on Saturday. That's totally normal.
Well, let's take a look at Zollers and the other Tigers from our flicks from the game. Well, those pictures from John Gronsky, they were pretty good. But you know what wasn't? Missouri's offensive line play. Here's what Coach Drink had to say along with Caden Green.
But ultimately, we got to do a better job with a freshman quarterback protecting him. There can't be free runners on him, and that happened too many times on third downs. And obviously, one of the serious momentum changes of the game. So,
yeah, I mean, I feel like they made some good adjustments. You know, they started to kind of key on what we were doing, call out plays at the line. So, you know, it just is what it is.
Caden, I just want to clarify something you said when you said they're calling out plays at the line, like they're there and they knew what you were doing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a few times. I think they were starting to get reads on like formations and stuff. Maybe stances, I don't know. But, you know, like I said, that's a really good defense. Like, you know, we just got to be better.
Short and sweet, how did the O-line play affect this game, Quentin?
Yeah, Texas A&M sent really confusing blitzes at Missouri's offensive line, which Eli Drinkwitz touched on earlier in the week as a tendency of Mike Elko, and Mizzou just couldn't handle it a lot. Zollers was hit quite often by free rushers, and that's just not a situation you want to put your true freshman quarterback in.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about it. He got pressured 7 times on his 22 pass attempts. That's just not going to be enough to – that's just not going to be good enough to get the job done going forward. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't expect the line to be perfect against this defensive front that A&M had. I don't think you could put all of the blame on them, but at the same time, you have to be better when Zollers is in the position. They didn't do a lot to really help them at all in this game.
There was one group that was certainly pulling their weight and trying to help the Tigers win this game. That was the defense. The defense was out there playing superhero, trying to stop Marcel Reed and the Aggies from blowing up Columbia. They were not able to do it. Allowed 464 yards, 38 points, but the thing to note here is 316 yards were allowed in the second half. That's more yardage than Missouri had in the entire game.
Yeah, again, the first half was great for the Mizzou defense. They shut down what had been a really efficient Texas A&M rushing attack. They entered Saturday averaging about 200 rushing yards per game, which was a top 25 mark in the country. In the first half, they had 16 carries for 23 yards. That's awesome. That is really, really good. But again, too much pressure was put on them in the second half, especially after that fake punt. That was a real backbreaker after they had just gotten a third down stop to go back out on the field. And again, they held them to a field goal. They stood tall in the red zone, but the offense's ineptitude was just putting too much pressure on the defense.
I think that's really well said, and I think the defense did everything they could. I think this game boils down to 2 plays. The first one comes right before the half on that 3rd and 10 when Zollers dropped back, which I said earlier, I thought it should have been a run on that play. Try to get into the half at 7-0. Eli Drinkwitz acknowledged that in his post-game press conference that should have been the case. And that was a complete backbreaker because you go down 14-0 and they get the ball to start. Did they have the ball to start the second half or did they force a 3 and out? Regardless, it was 14-0, 7-0. It's one possession game. It's a huge difference. And then the second one was what Quentin just mentioned. That fake punt was such a backbreaker. And for Eli Drinkwitz to take accountability for that is something, but to have a max protect on that return just didn't make a lot of sense when you had the opportunity to get the ball back. I understand wanting to get a big return out of it, but you wanted to get the ball back there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, especially in that strip sack at the end of the first half. Like, yeah, they held them to 7-0. Like, that's about as much of a, like, you could expect out of the defense in that half. And then you let that happen and get an easy score there, and you're down 14-0 coming out of halftime, and then the offense still can't get momentum. So the defense, like, you can't rely on them to do everything in this game. And moving forward, like, the offense just has to be better because you can't always expect the defense to be perfect, I think.
Playing all sides of the football. One guy, our guy, only played one side of the football. That's Tyson Ellison. He's got a new episode of Sideline Study Hall for us.
It was a tough ask for Matt Zollers to win 4 straight games to get Mizzou to the CFP. Missouri can't get past the first one. Texas A&M gives Missouri 0 lives left on the season in the eyes of the College Football Playoff Committee. It was a difficult game on all phases. Texas A&M is great, but they really blew up the pocket in this game. Matt Zollers did not have the time he needed for a young quarterback. And actually, let's take a look at that play by Cassius Howell. You see Zollers here, the young quarterback, is going to step up in the pocket. Right now, he doesn't even realize there's pressure behind him. As a young quarterback, you haven't been in live reps very often. The bullets aren't flying at you. Here, he thinks he's got options down the field, and the O-line has to do a better job protecting the young quarterback, because here, the ball is taken right off his hand as he's throwing by Cassius Howell, who's an incredible player in his own right, but that's a sack fumble. Missouri cannot afford plays like this going forward. This is just excellent scheme by Texas A&M, right? The middle linebacker here, even if he's identified by the offensive line in the middle of the field, at the snap, he's going to move to his left to a completely different gap. There's no way that you could have prepared for this with the players you have right now in pass protection. He goes to the D gap even. So now Jordan had to leave a guy unblocked to take on the blitz. He doesn't win the blitz block either, because that player ends up making the forced fumble here. Another sack fumble into the hands of Texas A&M. Not only is that demoralizing at the line of scrimmage, but down the field, you see the momentum of this game completely changed on that play. Defense for Mizzou had opportunities to make similar plays, similar explosive turnovers, and they did a great job scheming it up too. You're going to see here, Reed drops back, Tristan Newsom comes with pressure, but he stands in the gap. Typically you would blitz here. Newsom doesn't, because he watches film. He knows that Reed lets go of that ball low at times, so he gets his hands up and bats that football down. Almost came away with an interception. Missouri also had another dropped pick in this game, so Texas A&M says, okay, we'll get the ball to our playmakers at the line of scrimmage, like you saw at LSU, and we'll allow them to make plays down the field by themselves. A&M does that exactly on this play, but Santana Banner watches film. He says, I've seen this before. Watch his eyes. When Casey Concepcion takes that tunnel screen action, Santana Banner scrapes, sheds the blocker, and is in the backfield, but just whiffs on the tackle. Even with perfect preparation, great reading and reacting, was in the space to make the play and just couldn't. That's how Casey Concepcion gets down the field and is streaking free and by himself to make this game 21-0 off an explosive play against the defense, who did great for a majority of the game. They got off the field here on third down. It's 4th and 3. But the punt return team is in max return, Coach Drinkwitz said in the press conference. What that means is all of those players in the core are trying to hold up Texas A&M players to not allow them down the field. Now your contained player also goes inside here in the chaos. I think the ball just gets lost, because now on punt, you've got a long, explosive play where the punt returner has to end up making the tackle. That's never a good situation to be in. Neither is this coming up for the Mizzou offense here. Texas A&M was calling out the Missouri plays during the game. Caden Green told us that. So you see here on the outside zone, the defense does a great job scraping to the right, getting penetration right in the middle of that brigade of offensive linemen, and Ahmad Hardy was tackled for a loss. That doesn't happen often. Texas A&M made it happen. They're a great team. So now Mizzou is not playing for the playoffs, but they have the opportunity to continue with 3 games left and senior night coming up next week. There's still plenty to play for against Mississippi State. Jacob, back to you.
Well, on that game screen that Tyson just showed you, we're going to press play, but for a different game. It's time for Take It to the Grave. And I'm doing something in Take It to the Grave at this time that I've never done before. Smile. Because I don't have to spin the wheel of misery, but these guys do.
I've never seen you so happy.
This is great.
I've never seen you so
Can I get a
I'm not, no.
Please.
I'll leave that for 25th.
Oh,
I'll leave that for Camden.
Well, here's the issue. Donovan Alubade had 8 targets. He had 8 targets and played 51 snaps, most by by any receiver.
Why don't you go
I'm
ahead and spin
arguing.
that wheel? Why don't you go ahead and spin that wheel?
What is that?
Oh, come on.
T-shirt toss. Dude, we got to get that off the wheel, honestly.
Okay, it's a second free spot.
Whoa, move that back. That just went like.
Whoa,
yeah,
okay,
move it back to t-shirt toss.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it moved a lot.
Thank you.
When it moves. Yeah.
Well, I'm mad too because Mizzou did miss a field goal, but it got taken back because of a penalty. So I have to spin.
Let's see it, Chase.
Come on. Oh my god.
Oh, Tyler's going to love that.
Viral
Oh, no,
take.
that was
definitely
that was
viral
viral take.
We'll say
Tyler's
viral
going to have a good time
not
with
bad.
you, Chase, in a video. So for our fans, another free t-shirt will be coming your way. Stay tuned on socials. In the meantime, that's Take It to the Grave. It's a fun day here because we're going to continue to play a game. This time it's Proven Unproven, where we ask the tough questions to the guys that ask really tough questions. So, Proven, unproven, Quentin.
Yeah.
Matt Zollers is the quarterback of the future.
Proven.
Wow.
That's more of a long-term thing because, again, growing pains in your true freshman season against one of the best defenses in the country is inevitable. It reminded me a lot of Drew Lock in 2015, and I'm not portending that Matt Zollers is going to be one of the most productive quarterbacks in the history of Mizzou football, but Drew Lock went through very similar growing pains his freshman season. I think Matt Zollers is going to undergo the same process.
Proven, unproven. Eli Drinkwitz stays with Missouri next season.
Gosh. Okay, Mr. Potster.
I mean, yeah, you're just trying to stir the pot. Unproven. That's for you, Travis. Unproven. We don't know. I mean, obviously, there's teams interested in him right now. It's not a secret. Penn State has called. We've heard about Florida being interested. We've heard about Penn State being interested. So I don't know. It's too early to tell, to be honest. We'll see how the next 3 weeks go.
For you, Chase, if Hardy doesn't touch the ball 20 times or more, Missouri will lose an SEC play.
Unproven. Just because I don't entirely think Hardy's workload is the sole reason why Mizzou is losing these games and can't win games. Like, the offense as a whole, the passing game has to be better. The defense still has to be good. I mean, I would like to see Hardy carry the ball more than 13 times, but I don't think it's the sole factor.
So far in SEC games, Chase, I don't know if this changes anything for you, but in SEC play, and actually in FBS play, every time Hardy has touched the ball 20 times or more, Missouri has won. In times where he's had less than 20 carries, Missouri has lost.
I don't think that's super fair to say, especially about the A&M game, for example, or games where the game script flipped in the second half. I just don't think it's true.
Well, there's a lot of factors that go into the rushes beyond just Hardy. Let's check the AP poll. All right, so we ran through the AP poll teams. If you guys noticed something, Missouri was not in the AP poll. They dropped out. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's right. They just have a high quantity of losses and not enough good wins to make up for it, especially when you look at that back half with James Madison and South Florida sneaking back in. They're 8-1. They don't have the similar high quality, or quantity, I should say, of losses.
Tennessee is the only 3-loss team that is included in the poll. Do you think the Tigers are rightfully out, Zach?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Tigers are rightfully out. I'm going to flip a question back to you, Jacob.
Okay, wow.
Jacob.
Uh-oh.
What do you think Missouri's best win is this season?
KU.
You think KU's the best win?
I mean, for everything that was on that game, I mean, like, you could argue and say South Carolina.
Yeah, you know South Carolina's record right now? It's not very good.
No, that's what I say. Kate, with the weight that was on the game, the fact that Missouri was down 21-6, they came back. KU, I think, arguably is your best win right now.
Auburn double overtime on the road, maybe.
But the team currently with the winning record.
That's my point right there, Quentin. They haven't beat a team with a winning record, so it's hard to sit here and say they deserve to be in the top 25 when you haven't done that. They're 6-3 and have every opportunity, but.
Yeah, I mean, obviously if they win out, there's a path to get back in the AP poll. But as it stands, I think I agree with them. I don't think Mizzou should be in the top 25 as it stands.
Well, there's one poll that does have Missouri included. That is right now the coaches poll. Obviously, we're still waiting on the college football poll. But hey, we'll keep you posted when that comes out too on our socials on the Tiger Kickoff Show. We'll be breaking down everything Missouri football related for the rest of the season, even if that doesn't include the college football playoff. We're not going anywhere. Quentin Corpuel, Zach Sweet, Chase James. We're the Tiger Kickoff Show. Thanks for watching.
What's going on? It's Tony Temple, Mizzou running back. Watch the Tiger Kickoff Show. You don't want to miss it.
Hey, Luke Bauer here. You guys got to get into the Tiger Kickoff Show. MIT.